Hello everyone, and welcome to Rise in Sky Immigration. Today we have an exciting topic to cover, the extension of the Agri Food Pilot, which aims to facilitate access to permanent residence for workers and their families in Canada's agri-food sector. The Government of Canada recognizes the importance of supporting the agri-food sector's labor market needs and strengthening Canada's food supply system. One key to success for Canadian farmers and food processors is their ability to recruit and retain a skilled workforce.
As part of this commitment, the Honourable Sean Fraser, Minister of Immigration, Refugees and Citizenship, announced on May 8, 2023, the extension of the Agri Food Pilot, which will now run until May 14, 2025. Let's watch the Minister's announcement to understand why agriculture is so crucial for Canada.
There's no secret that our economy is still recovering from the COVID-19 pandemic, and I've got to say, part of the solution to maximizing Canada's economic potential coming out of what has been a few extremely difficult years is going to be supplying the economy with the labor it needs to grow. It's essential, both in the short term and the long term, to address the labor shortage that persists today, but the skills shortage that's going to be essential we remedy if we're going to maximize our economic growth in the generations ahead. You know, it was just this past summer, there was nearly 1 million jobs open in the Canadian economy. And despite what opportunities we have to fund training, despite what opportunities we have to bring marginalized people into the economy, we know that we're not going to be able to meet the needs of the domestic labor force solely with the domestic workforce that exists today. That's why we need to continue to welcome newcomers into our countries, to grow our communities, but to provide businesses with the labor that they need, which will in turn support the jobs of Canadians who are working for these businesses now, after so many businesses have been hit hard over the course of the COVID-19 pandemic.
Now that we have seen the Minister's announcement, let's discuss the requirements for the Agri Food Pilot Program.
To be eligible for the Agri Food Pilot, candidates must meet certain criteria, including 1. Having 12 months of full-time. 2. Canadian work experience in one of the eligible occupations. 3. They should also achieve a language benchmark level 4 in English or French and
4. Possess a high school level education or higher with a valid Educational Credential Assessment, ECA. 5. A full-time job offer and proof of settlement funds are also required. In addition to these requirements, the Minister has introduced new changes to the pilot in stages. Let's watch the Minister's announcement to learn more about these measures.
Today, on the cusp of what I expect will be the busy season in agriculture, we're announcing a number of changes to the Agri-Food Workers Pilot, based on recommendations that came directly from stakeholders in the industry over the past 3 years. First and foremost, I'm pleased to share that we're going to be extending the pilot and accepting applications for an additional 2 years until May of 2025, which is going to give longer-term support to the sector and allow us to continue to test out the pilot, which experienced certain challenges, of course, as a result of the COVID-19 pandemic. Second, we're going to be removing the annual limits for how many candidates can apply for specific occupations under the pilot. We trust that removing these occupational subcaps, so to speak, are going to enable and encourage more people to apply in the sectors that may have been oversubscribed. We also intend to make certain other changes which will be phased in by the end of this year. This will include expanding open work permit access to family members of all participants in the pilot, regardless of the particular occupation code they have. If we're going to depend on foreign workers to meet the economic needs of our businesses, I believe it's incumbent upon us to extend opportunities for their families to be with them. And I think we have a moral responsibility to promote family reunification, which is also going to be an excellent recruitment tool when workers who are thinking about coming to Canada know that their loved ones will be able to be here with them and to be able to work to support themselves. We'll also be allowing unions to attest to a candidate's work experience as an alternative to requiring reference letters from employers, which can sometimes be challenging for certain applicants depending on the relationship they have with their employer. We will also be asking applicants residing in Canada to meet either the job offer requirement, including the condition that it must match the job's median wage, or the education requirement, including Educational Credential Assessment verification. And finally, we're going to begin to accept a person's work experience that may have been gained under an open work permit for vulnerable workers, giving more workers the opportunity to qualify. Expanding the protections for workers who come here temporarily is essential. We do not want to foster a culture where workers are afraid to report exploitive situations for fear that they won't be able to count their work experience towards permanent residency programs. This change is going to encourage more workers who might not be treated fairly to seek protection and seek opportunities to work with respectable employers in the sector in which they came to Canada to work within. Together, these changes are a significant step towards meeting the long-standing labour market needs of agri-food employers. The meat processing, mushroom and greenhouse crop production, and livestock raising industries are now going to have more support to fill their ongoing labour requirements with full-time, year-round employees.
To further enhance the Agri-Food Pilot, we are implementing several changes. 1. We are lifting the annual occupational caps, allowing more individuals to benefit from this program. 2. We are increasing open work permit access to family members, fostering family unity.
3. We are giving unions the ability to vouch for a candidate's work experience as an alternative to employer reference letters. 4. Additionally, applicants residing in Canada will now have the option to meet either the job offer requirement or the education requirement. Lastly, the pilot will now accept work experience obtained under an open work permit for vulnerable workers. Now let's discuss various occupations and industries eligible under the pilot. The occupations and industries eligible under the Agri-Food Pilot include meat product manufacturing, greenhouse, nursery, and floriculture production, including mushroom production and animal production. That concludes our discussion on the extension and new measures of the Agri-Food Pilot. If you have any further questions or need more information about this program, we encourage you to book an appointment by calling the provided numbers below.